Welcome to Assist Amplified, the podcast from the Assist Network, hosted by co-founder Ant Stonehouse and Goodwill Ambassador Sharon Sinclair-Williams. Our mission is to amplify the voices of women across the Tees Valley while educating, inspiring and entertaining you along the way. Each episode brings you real conversations with the incredible people who make up our network. So, let's dive in. Welcome to the Assist Women's Network podcast, Assist Amplified. I'm your co-host, Sharon Sinclair-Williams. I'm Director of the Digital Gene and Love Yourself First EFT. I'm also the Goodwill Ambassador for the network for 2025 through into 2026.
And I'm co-host Ant Stonehouse, Chair and co-founder of Assist Women's Network, and I'm an accountant in my day job.
We are thrilled to welcome to the Assist Amplified podcast chair today, Julie Burniston, who is Head of Business Development and Communications at Southern Asset Management. And she was actually our Goodwill Ambassador for 2024-2025. I remember so well you handed over the baton to me, Julie. It was a lovely, lovely experience.
I didn't want to. I had to be wrested out of my hands.
I know that your latest, it's a new role that you're in, very, very new, isn't it?
It is.
Just tell us a little bit about what you do day to day there at the moment.
Well, actually, as we speak, recording this podcast, I'm only into 2 days into week 2. Yeah. So at the moment, just sort of finding my feet. But obviously, I've known Southern Asset Management and the team for 3 years since they started, and just watched their trajectory with pride. Really, they've come such a long way in 3 years. So I think you do get to a stage where you think, actually, that's a great company. I'd love to work there. It was kind of always in the back of my mind and Steve, my boss's mind, that one day it would happen. And it happened quicker than I thought it would. But I think with their growth, they're now ready for someone to come in and do their business development and their communications. So
it's very early days, but obviously you're enjoying it.
Yeah. I mean, very different from my previous role at Teesside Hospice, which obviously I loved.
Yeah.
This one, it's a small team. It's me learning something completely new, but that's what I love. My brain is a sponge still at this age. I know we're not allowed to talk about age yet, but I'm
a bit about age,
okay. As a woman of experience, my brain is still like a 2-year-old. It's still expanding. It's still taking things in. So I love a new challenge.
Brilliant.
So Julie, Goodwill Ambassador 24-25, that was last year.
It was.
How did you feel when I called you that day and told you?
I was really amazed and so thrilled. In fact, in my career, it's one of the standout moments for me. I think that my peers actually thought enough about me to give me that accolade. It was just wonderful. It really was. And when I think of all the business women that are part of Assist, for me to actually be announced as Goodwill Ambassador was just brilliant. It really was. And
so I'm not one of the judges, but I was told it was your projects that people you get Assist anyway. You've been part of it since you've come back to the area, haven't you?
So almost
5 years.
5 years.
5 years, something like that. And you do get Assist, and you're very much been embedded in it since then. Yeah. But yeah, because I don't read the nomination forms. I have
those phone calls though are legend.
I have nothing to do with the process, thankfully. But yeah, it was very much about the forward focus and the pathways and how you were going to get involved with Assist, so I'm told from the judges. So every Goodwill Ambassador gets to choose a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to tell us how and why you chose your tree?
I chose a cherry blossom. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and it kind of, I think, embodies me really as a person. So on the outside, a cherry blossom in full bloom is quite showy, quite ballsy is the wrong word, but it's big, it's bold, and yet it's quite slender, unlike me currently. No, it kind of embodies strength, showing us, but underneath it's got this heart and it's got a real meaning. And you may ask me what the meaning of a cherry blossom is, and someone did tell me, and I thought that's gorgeous, and I completely forgot.
Yeah, and I was actually...
I love your analogy of it, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good, isn't it?
And I was actually at the Sisterwood I go almost every week and walk around there, do walk meetings there, and they're all in full bloom. They're just thriving. They're
And
just
you can't beat a cherry
beautiful.
blossom for that, can you?
Yeah. So
As I said, it's just kind of it's something it's big, it's bold, it's colourful.
And that's you.
it is, isn't it? Absolutely.
Like you say, it sums you up. So every Goodwill ambassador now gets to choose what we're calling their legacy project. And this project is mine. This podcast is mine. Your legacy project is called Women of Experience. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
So Women of Experience came about because, I'm a proud woman in my 50s. I may act like a 20-year-old at times. And if you speak to my daughter Evangeline, she is definitely the adult in our relationship. It's just the two of us at home. I'm still a child. However, when people, I'm not saying everyone, and I'm not saying all men, but there's a lot of people, I think, out there that do judge a woman when she gets to her 40th birthday, her 50th birthday and beyond. And it angers me. It really angers me, because it's not about, although I'm saying about the cherry blossom and we love looking at it, it's not all about the outside. It's what you can bring. It's your heart, it's your soul, it's your experience. And I know from speaking to a lot of women, and I did go through it myself a little bit, you kind of lose confidence all of a sudden, and you think, now what? Are my best years behind me in business and in your personal life and in every, part of your life? And I'm thinking, actually, no. Yeah. I know so many women who literally have only just got started when they hit 40, and they've either pivoted, they've gone into a completely new career and are smashing it. So I wanted to give those women a voice and to allow them to come to a space that other women understand, and they can vent, and we can help. Well, they can, because, you don't want to sound like some bitter and twisted woman that is angry at all 20-year-olds because they're just starting out, or they're 2 stone lighter, or they haven't got cross, whatever. It's as I say, it's not about that. It's a place to come and for other women to go, actually, I've been there, this is what I did, why don't you try this? And actually just to give each other a pat on the back and to say, just do it. Age is irrelevant. It's what's in here and your experience and what we can actually do for the next generation as well. And that's something I think is really important.
We've got to show up for them, haven't we? Because we don't want to keep repeating that same message that you're on the scrap heap. Like, as you probably know, I did a TEDx talk all around the very same subject. Like, we're not on the scrap heap. There are women showing up like in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s and beyond. It's every times are changing, and everybody has to face up to that, don't they?
Yeah. I actually think it's we've got more to offer. To be honest, the skill sets and the experience and the knowledge that we've got, they're all advantages, aren't they? That really.
Well, I mean, medically and scientifically, we're all going to live a lot longer. Like kids born today essentially could live easily till they're 100 years old. So why are we saying like 40 and 50 is that point where you're done, you're has-been?
I think
that makes sense.
Looking back, as soon as a woman got to 40, she didn't, and again, it's not about the way you look, but you didn't really, in past generations, bother doing your hair, getting a nice dress on, going out, doing whatever, being proud of yourself as a woman. It was just, you are middle-aged and that's it. Your childbearing days are over. And come on, look at us.
We're not doing it now.
No, absolutely not.
No, we're not.
They're not the rules now.
Absolutely,
definitely.
We are breaking those rules, aren't we?
Not at all, and that probably takes us really nicely into the community that Women of Experience it is, and the conversations that we've had. Do you want to talk a little bit about the which isn't all. When we're talking about women of experience, we are talking about the more mature, wise woman. However, we do have younger women that come to them groups as well and join that conversation, don't we?
Well, let's face it, you know, as much as a 20-year-old is looking in the mirror now and thinking, oh, you know, my 40s and 50s, oh, they're years away. I sometimes think, what happened? Where did those 20, 25 years go? And who is this person looking back at me? So they know it's going to come to them. God willing, it's going to come to them, because we do have to celebrate the fact that we are still alive and kicking in our 50s, 60s, 70s, because it's a privilege that not everybody has, let's face it. So yes, I think younger women come because, number one, they actually find our stories quite funny. I mean, as things go around and come around, and things that we lived through in the 80s and the early 90s are coming back into fashion, and we can say, oh God, I remember the time I went out with Gary Barlow that night. So, you know, you've got those stories.
Been there and done that, got the t-shirt type of thing.
And you went out, you were around in the 80s and 90s in magazines, and so you've got they actually find our tales of our previous incarnations really interesting, but also they'll come and they'll ask advice, which is really lovely. You know, Julie, what do you think I should do if I want to get into this? And and we have the connections to be able to signpost them, which is brilliant.
Yeah. And actually that reminds me of one of the very first conversations that we had of where do we go with the project, and you had the idea of us coming along to the first event with a photograph of, obviously this is what we look like now, but actually this is what we were like in, did we do the 80s? Or
I think just when we were 20.
Just when we were younger, wasn't it?
Could choose.
Yeah, I was there that night.
And that was, for me, that was a really interesting experience, because I got sort of the photographs out when I was sort of late teens, early 20s, and we brought them along, didn't we? And everybody's going, oh my God, is that you? And
I know.
You know, and that was...
People don't think you've been young, do they?
And that's the point. I think seeing a photograph of as we were, that was an eye-opener for all of us, to be honest, but for the younger generation, we were,
And I had to tell people, actually, I'm not a real blonde. I'm actually a very dark brunette.
Did you ever get asked that question?
No, I think people just kind of, you know, associate me with the blonde Julie with a big hair. No, it's out of the bottle.
I think Julie, maybe you should go pink sometime, like the cherry blossom tree.
Oh, good.
There's an idea.
Are you sure I'm not too old for that? No.
Definitely not.
No, I'm kidding. Well, you never know. Watch this space.
So ageism is something really that's generational, isn't it? You know, we often get told you're not old enough. You're not old enough to do that. You haven't got the right amount of experience for that job. Come back when you're a little bit older. And then it goes right the way through, doesn't it? To like, now you're too old. You shouldn't be wearing that. You shouldn't be doing that. And so how do you feel like with your legacy project that you're trying to address that?
You know, I think we not only have to address that by increasing women's confidence, and basically saying, you know, if you're comfortable going, who said you can't wear a skirt above your knees post 40? You can wear whatever suits you. So it's building up women's confidence, but also educating men, because very sadly I have come across some horrendous misogyny towards women of older women. I really have, and to myself as well. And as I say, I look in the mirror and I don't see a woman in her 50s. I still see myself as, you know, I still run down the street. I still go to the gym, and I'm still, you know, the only thing I can't do is drink as much as I used to. But that's not my thing, is it?
We all feel that, don't we?
I was just going to say, I'm going to a theme park at the weekend, and I still love the roller coaster.
Oh, me too. Yeah, I do.
I mean, you don't want to be the woman that's when I have these conversations with Evangeline, my daughter. I don't want to go, you know, the mum off Mean Girls who's going, look at me, I'm the cool mum. I think you've either got it or you haven't. You're either cool or you know. But yeah, as I said, do men actually look in the mirror and go, I shouldn't really wear that shirt. That's for a man in his 20s. Of course they don't.
Maybe that's another podcast, Dan.
Maybe
We'll
it
get the
is.
men on.
Oh, maybe
hey?
it is.
Yeah.
You know, it's so interesting, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because like
that's
I'd be, you know, sometimes when you say to people that you still go for bottomless brunches and like still like going to Ibiza and all that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
and like sometimes like people look at you as if. And then there's the other side of the coin as well. When you're talking there about misogyny and like that, you know, the patriarchal messages that we're all that's embedded in all of us, like they're in women too.
Yeah.
Though it's in women too, because you
It is.
can so often see on social media, don't you, other women saying to women, "You're too old to wear that. You shouldn't be doing this."
Yeah.
So it's really embedded in our
is.
culture, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it is.
The awful.
And magazines and media.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Everywhere.
we've talked about that many times, haven't we? Media.
It's
have got a lot
everywhere.
to answer
It's
for.
everywhere. You've got a big job to do with this, Julie.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And do you know what? The more we post about women of experience, the more you know, it's your algorithms, isn't it? And you get people from all over the country doing this on a much grander scale, it has to be said, but really making waves and making headway, you know, and these absolutely incredible women. But yeah, sort of going back to the misogyny and things, you know, there are men out there that actually really represent women of experience and support and actually actively promote them and look for them to join their workforce. And I have come across people like that, and Steve Southern is one, because he sees our wealth of knowledge. Yeah, I might even sort of nearly 2 weeks in now, I might have to ring up and ask Ryan, one of the lads, how do I do this on the computer? You know, I mean, you know, back in the day I was on an electric typewriter when I was a journalist. So things like that. But is that an age thing? I don't think
No,
it is.
it's
I just
not.
think it's something that I'm actually really
Yeah.
not hugely interested
You
in.
know your skill set, don't you?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you ask for help when you know that it's not there. So
when you need
everybody does that, regardless of
Yeah.
age, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say that takes us nicely into that you've actually threaded us into the next question anyway.
Yeah. This episode is sponsored by Louise Cooper of YouGlow Tan, the clean beauty brand redefining sunless tanning. Their professional system and retail line uses natural, organic, and regulatory compliant formulas, offering a safer alternative that meets today's demand for healthier beauty. With exciting plans for growth and innovation, YouGlow really is one to watch. Learn more about their journey and products at youglowtan.com.
Is how do you think women of experience can, I don't know, should we use the word persuade employers to actually recruit and employ wise women, or even there's quite a lot of us that are self-employed to actually engage with us in business.
Do you know what? I don't think anyone should ever have to go into a job situation and have to prove that their age, whether they're very young or whether they're a woman of experience, is an issue. That it shouldn't have to be. It should be about the person sat in front. Is this woman the right
fit?
The right fit.
Yeah.
And that, you know, it's about educating men to realise that we may be going through the menopause, we may have come out of the menopause, we may have, I don't know, we may have some health issues just as they will when they get to that age if they're not already there. But it's not a barrier to employment. And, you know,
because that's a lifelong thing, isn't it? We all have issues right through our life, regardless of age.
You know,
so
when
it doesn't
you're young,
make any difference. Yeah.
I remember going, before I moved to London, going for an interview on Teesside over at Skipper's Lane, and this was obviously decades ago now. And I think I was 17, so I just come out of sixth form college, going for this interview, and the guy doing the interview asking me if I had a boyfriend, and I said yes, which I did at the time. And he said, "Oh well, we wouldn't employ you then because you're only going to go off and get pregnant." So on the flip side of that coin, I'm sure there's barriers for younger girls as well, and I don't know, but yes, it's about putting ourselves in the best possible light, but also educating you know, if it's educating maybe other women employees as well,
right across
you
the
know,
board,
because I'm sure this misogyny isn't all from from
That's what I was saying. It's really embedded in our culture. It's like
Yeah.
been there for centuries, hasn't it? For
Yeah.
generation upon generation. So, you know, all of these projects that we're doing with Assist, they're all trying to demystify all of this stuff that goes on in the workplace, isn't it?
Yeah, and creating that community to women support women, but to share that confidence in each other, and so women have the confidence to go. We all know that women won't go for a job unless they tick the majority of them boxes. So it's trying to change that, isn't it? Just to think, well, actually, maybe I don't know them few, but I'll go into that job anyway.
Yeah.
And I'll learn.
Well, there's that story, isn't there? I don't know how true it is, that if a woman sees that, she'll like, oh no, I wasn't going for that. But a man, he'll go, oh yeah, I'll be in. And whether that's true or not, but it's a story that does the rounds. But we should think more like that, shouldn't we? We'll learn on the job and change the way we think.
I think the great thing about getting older is being able to reinvent yourself. You know, because
Madonna is one of our, when we
reinvent
about
yourself
it,
more.
Madonna is one of our women of our idol women
I'm
of
always saying
experience
that.
of many, isn't she?
But what do people think of, like, the younger generation think of Madonna now? Well, actually, I think they're split into two camps. They either think she's this incredible icon, or they look at her and go, oh God, she's had terrible plastic surgery. She's really old and she can't walk and she can't dance the way she used to. So, you know, why not celebrate her amazing achievements?
Amazing.
Instead of, you know, just focusing on
but
the
she's
negative.
still on the world stage doing everything that she loves,
absolutely.
isn't she? And she doesn't give a damn what anybody thinks.
Absolutely.
We love women like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We looked at a few celebrities and quotes, didn't we, about a year and a half ago, because we started with that as well, didn't we? The Meryl Streeps of the world. And who else?
But even people, there was Cameron Diaz, who I think is... Oh, she must be in her early 50s now, maybe late 40s. But she was talking about, as an actress in Hollywood, that as soon as you hit 35, even, which is ridiculously young, you know, there are no roles because you're not quite old
But
enough.
the men are the silver foxes and get all those great parts, don't they?
Yeah. But then we've got Helen Mirren. She's a perfect example of like
just
now doing, just embracing older roles and again being reinvented.
Do you know what I love about Helen Mirren? You could put any beautiful, what they're called, Victoria's Secret model next to Helen Mirren, and she'll knock them sideways with sexiness. It is just in her.
Some people just ooze it, don't they? And it's confidence.
It is confidence.
Absolutely.
It doesn't. Sexuality doesn't have to be overt. You know, that attractiveness comes from knowing yourself and being confident and just being open to others as well, and being a smiley person and
It does, and that's absolutely a great message to take forward, isn't it? For any woman, just have confidence. What's the future of women experience looking like right now?
Obviously, we're still we're going ahead and we're having our meetings. I think the next one is coming up in September. And
the next event.
The next event, funny enough, that's going to be all about confidence.
Perfect, spot on.
Confidence.
We didn't even plan that.
Confidence. I knew the answer.
It just came.
So it's going to be confidence in the physical, and it's going to be confidence in yourself and confidence in business to be able to pivot. Because let's face it, the way things are changing. And as I've said before, with all the experience women of experience have, you know, there is that opportunity to pivot, do something completely different, maybe something you've always wanted to do, wanted to try, and having those recognizing that you've got those transferable skills and having the confidence just to go for it.
Do you think we take more risks as well?
I think so. As you get older, you do take more risks, aren't you? You're willing to...
Yeah, I think you can take risks when
step
you're
over the
much younger
precipice.
Then we've got to go through stable time, I suppose, family time, and then when we
then when we don't have that, we're like, right,
take risks.
I'm going for this. I mean, we love a good career pivot on this couch, don't we?
Oh, we do.
It's like that, and I just think the messages that you're giving there, that event about confidence couldn't be more timely, could it?
No.
So we often find as women, and this, I'm really looking forward to this answer, Julie. We often find as women that we don't like shouting about ourselves, amplifying our own voices, if you wish. And at the end of every episode, Anne and I have decided that we're going to ask our guests this question.
Okay.
Are you ready for this, Julie?
Go on.
Okay. Do you feel comfortable talking about yourself and bragging about your achievements?
Absolutely feel comfortable. I mean, give me a microphone.
Wow.
Yeah, give me a microphone. You can't shut me up. As I said, I love telling stories, and I've got a couple of books actually in me of stories. You may not believe a lot of them, but they are true. Believe me. I think there's a difference between confidence in talking about yourself and bragging. I think bragging's got a bit of a negative connotation. However, if we don't talk ourselves up and talk other women up, who the heck's going to do it?
Yeah.
Nobody. And a man would never, he wouldn't give two hoots whether he's going to be the biggest voice in the room because he wants the business or whatever.
Doesn't give it a second thought.
No, I mean, I'm sure we've all met those women who are absolutely brilliant in what they do, but there's ways and means of talking yourself up. And you've got to listen as well as speak.
Good point.
So as much as I love talking about myself, I do like to listen to others and help others as well. But
do you think it's a skill? Do you think it's a skill that we're not taught?
I think we need to start learning to adapt, and it's a skill. I think it's a confidence. Going back to that confidence thing, isn't it? I think we need to.
I think there should be something done there at a really young age about showing our young girls how to be more confident and to speak up for themselves.
But we were taught the opposite all them years back.
Yeah.
That
should be seen and not heard.
Which is why the brag word is really.
Everybody goes, ooh, it really grates on them, doesn't it? Yeah. It's like, don't like that word.
The best thing ever for me was going into journalism because, while I have anxiety now and again. I have, times when I'm not feeling my most confident. But as a journalist, you are trained to speak to someone and find the common denominator, find the common ground. And it just becomes second nature. And, you don't go into journalism without loving people. Well, my form of journalism, magazine journalism, you have to really want to
get those stories out of people.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant sometimes when you find that one woman or that one person in a corner that is on their own and sometimes doesn't look very approachable, or maybe looks a bit scared or a bit lonely. So you go and talk to them and you find out they've got this incredible background.
Yeah,
amazing backstories. So
that's great, because that's what the Assist Network's all about, embracing everybody, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Right, so last question.
Yeah.
Last question. So Assist is a network at the core. What is your networking top tip?
My networking top tip, no matter how worried you feel about going into a room full of strangers, if you go in with a smile on your face, you'll find that you just attract people. If you look open and approachable,
friendly,
then people will approach you. And Assist isn't cliquey.
No,
people know each other. Obviously, the majority of us know each other. But if we see a face that we don't recognise, if it stood in a corner scowling, maybe maybe you keep your distance. But
it's a nice balance, isn't it?
Yeah. If you've got a smile on your face, that would be my networking top tip.
Yeah, we have a really nice balance in each room, don't we? Because we have familiar faces that sort of go to all events or like particular events, but then we've always got newcomers, so there's always that really nice balance of welcoming and but the dynamics change all the time, because it doesn't ever become, I suppose, stagnant, because it's the same conversations and the same people. There's always new people.
And Julie's so right, it's the least clicky network. Even before I was host for the Stockton network, I would quite easily go to one of the Assist Network groups because it just is not clicky. Everybody has always been so friendly and welcoming, haven't they, and approachable.
Absolutely.
So you're spot on with that top tip.
And they don't mind if you eat a bun. Sometimes you go to one of these networkers and you think, I can't have the finger food because
You go in
just getting there.
starving and you don't have anything to eat.
Have a
Yeah,
cup of
come
tea
on,
and a
sit
cake
down.
or something. Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's just
absolutely.
really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Julie, thank you so much for coming along today and sitting
welcome.
in the Assist Amplified podcast chair. Anne and I have really had a really good time chatting to you. So,
Good.
thank you so much for
having
your
me.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Today's episode was proudly sponsored by Uglo Tan. If you're looking for a professional tanning system, or how you can maybe become a stockist, or simply find out more about Louisa's rollercoaster business journey, then visit uglotan.com for more information. Thank you so much for listening to Assist Amplified, the legacy project of our Goodwill Ambassador, Sharon Sinclair-Williams. If you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to hit subscribe, share, and join in the conversation. Because when we amplify one voice, we amplify all voices, and change really can happen.